I just got a private walkthrough of Google's new Gemini 3.0 launch from Logan Kilpatrick. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this is the most powerful vibe coding tool I have ever seen. And he takes us through how to get the most out of it, how to create 3D fully featured games, how to create a startup from scratch. Today's episode, if you stick to the end, is an unfair advantage with how to get the most out of Google's new powerful Gemini 3.0. Enjoy. All right, we got Logan on the pod. By the end of this episode, Logan, what are we going to learn?
We're going to see Gemini 3 in action, building apps, and hopefully also showcase just like the breadth of what this model is possible and what it's capable of. So hopefully folks feel the magic as we look through some of these demos.
And by the end of the episode, will they have like an unfair advantage around how to get the most out of this thing?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to build apps using Gemini 3 Pro for free in AI Studio. And hopefully you'll see all the sort of like pro features and stuff like that as well. So this is the moment to really ramp up building things with AI. And I think we'll deliver on that.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, I love it. So the sort of like top level, obviously Gemini 3 is here, which is super exciting. Lots of hype over the last few months. It's our new state-of-the-art model, sort of world-class intelligence. And I think this like mission statement for Gemini 3 really being this idea of helping you bring anything to life. So if you have a business idea, you have sort of a artifact, a picture, a textbook, a science paper, a receipt, whatever it is, like Gemini 3 has this capability to like bring whatever the thing is that you have to life, which is really exciting. So we're looking at it in AI Studio right now. It's available across a bunch of Google services like the Gemini app if you're sort of looking for an assistant, or the API for developers and enterprises if you want to build this experience or build Gemini 3 into your own products. But we're looking at it right now inside of AI Studio's vibe coding experience. So if you want to go and build an AI app or just build an app in general and use Gemini 3 Pro to either power that app or to build that app for you, we can go ahead and do that. So there's a huge breadth. And Greg, I'll sort of click on some examples and we can talk through them. But yeah, the TLDR is like just the overall design aesthetic is incredible. So these are a bunch of the examples of, new landing page. Not that the world needs more landing pages, but, the aesthetics are beautiful, which I think is the high level overview. And these are like one shot using Gemini 3 Pro, which is great. So if any of these speak to you, you can click into them and sort of remix and change and deploy them and all that stuff. The immersive games in 3D worlds is this really exciting bit. And I think there's so many people, and this is like not super business practical. Maybe it is, and you can build like a small games business, but I know so many people who like got excited about coding and building software and businesses and stuff like that because they're really excited about games. And it's just hard to make games if you've ever tried before, like maybe just as hard as a bunch of, maybe even harder than a lot of other like traditional businesses because of the complexity. And I think with Gemini 3 Pro, you can just vibe code games in real time, which is really, really awesome. So I don't know if any of these games speak to you, but we can go in and click through one of them really quick and then talk more about like very practical ones.
Well, so they all speak to me, and I wanted to actually speak to the point around, I don't know if games could be helpful in your business. And my take is that vibe coding games as a marketing asset is so, like, you haven't done that before. Companies have not done that before. But if you want to create like, Gemini Racer for whatever brand that you're working on, let's say you're Lululemon or something, and it's just like a fun little Christmas themed Lululemon runner. Like, I don't know, but the fact is like, if you can like in a few prompts build a game that could get traction on X, on TikTok, on Instagram, it's now possible.
Yeah, I love that. I think games are also like just a proxy, which is, I think, the other like very practical point, which is games are just a proxy for like the model's overall capability. So like, hey, maybe you're like, I don't actually care about building games. I think as you see some of these examples, it like speaks to the level of sophistication that the model has an understanding of. And I'll click into one of these examples really quick. And we can do this Sky Metropolis one and like go and build a bunch of stuff. I have not played this game before, so I don't really know. I assume the point is build a great city. But all of this vibe coded inside of AI Studio, which is really, really exciting. And then there's like some AI integration as well, which is like the city and the humans and the sort of all the stuff that's happening is built around, is powered by our models behind the scenes. So it's a fun example of sort of what's possible. And I think this is meant, and Greg, you and I were talking off camera about this, this is meant to showcase like, single prompt generations, maybe like a couple of multi-turn in some case, but like this isn't something that like we paid a team of like 10 engineers 5 months to come up with and then put it into our demo. Like this is literally a vibe coded example that the team was able to build pretty quickly. So I think it speaks to like how accessible it is to build a bunch of this stuff.
I feel like the games, people are going to look at vibe coded games like right now and they're going to think it's a game, it's a toy. But I actually think that people are, the people who understand how important gaming is. I mean, games are content, right? And, content's very important. Content makes businesses. So I think games should be taken equally as serious. So I know I'm going to be building games and shipping games and seeing what happens. How, as a way to like spread whatever it is I'm working on.
100%. So this is that like VR. I don't know if this is actually going to break my laptop because I'm in Inception right here.
What? Are you kidding me?
You get the point. I wanted to pull out of that experience because I'm not hooked up to multiple displays, audio inputs or outputs. So I think this was potentially going to break the recording, but that is all vibe coded just using the camera out of the box, which is a ton of fun. So you can go in and the cool thing is this is the tempo strike game that you should be able to see. You should be able to like remix this experience. So I think this is the really fun part, which is like, hey, this app is actually weird in some way. I want to add these features. You can go into the gallery, directly remix whatever it is. And again, this was vibe coded with Gemini 3.0. Another one that I love is sort of, if you've seen this like famous ball bouncing example, Greg, I don't know if you see these on the internet where people are like, this is like the quintessential AI test where it's like put the ball in the box and see if it bounces as it rotates in a circle. So I came up with this idea for how do you take that example to the extreme. And so we have like 20 different simulators running at the same time. This was one shot vibe coded as well. And you can sort of mess with the simulation speed, what happens when you change gravity, what happens when you change the rotation speed of all these apps, and things get a little crazy. You can change the bounciness of the balls, all this stuff. And I think it's just like the gist of this one is you sort of take these quintessential tests that people were doing with AI models. And I was like, how do you make this like the extreme version? And this is very much an extreme version of the ball bouncing example. And it just works out of the box. Again, literally single shot vibe coded, which is crazy, which I think shows the power of this model. And I think is actually an underlying reminder that you have to be ambitious with this new model. Like what it's capable of is like probably beyond what you're thinking. So like ask for more, push the model, like ask it to build more, try to come up with some of these ambitious ideas. And I think it brings a lot of them to life, which is awesome.
It's not just landing pages.
It's not just landing pages. Like please do more than just build landing pages with Gemini 3 Pro. It really is super powerful. And again, obviously this is a gimmick example, but I think it's meant to sort of like show you the art of the possible if you take sort of what you were trying to do before and bring those new ideas to life. But if we go back and potentially look at some of these I'm feeling lucky ones, let's see if there's any good ones. Nano Banana. Or maybe, Greg, what's the business idea of the day for IdeaBrowser? Maybe we pop that in and we see what we get. This could be a good one.
Let's check it out. Open it up. IdeaBrowser.com.
Matching platform for AI, generational gap talent Matching platform for AI development teams. This is actually interesting. Let me. What's the best? Oh, and there's prompts and everything. This is perfect actually. What's the best way of bringing it over?
Are we just creating a landing page, or are we creating the app?
We should build a product. We should go for the ambitious version of this.
Of course. That's the type of guys we are, right?
I'm curious what happens if I just take this top
The
level.
idea?
Yeah, the idea and sort of like if I
We can try it.
Yeah, copy all of this. Let me see. I'm just trying to see, is there like other details about maybe this stuff down here? Maybe I'll just take in the raw, literally just Command A and drop this in there and see what happens. This could be an interesting idea. Build me an app based on what I saw from IdeaBrowser.com today. I copy and pasted the whole website below for the business idea. Bring this idea to life. Make it fully functional. Go deep. And help me make this app.
So what we're trying is we took an idea, a free idea, and we're just going to paste it into Gemini, and we're going to see what comes out.
Got the idea, copied it over, lots of random context. Didn't do any major formatting updates, which you ideally would want to do, but let's give it a shot. And we'll see what happens. And again, for folks who haven't seen, this is the AI Studio build experience. You can sort of put in whatever you want from a prompt perspective. You can put in multimodal inputs. You see on the left-hand side, the prompt that I put in, the model is thinking, and it's coming up with what the plan should look like. There's a bunch of like AI suggested sort of different additions to the app that I can make in this context about making a better matching algorithm. There's also just suggestions about the overall product experience. So you can take your code, you can deploy it, you can share it, et cetera, et cetera. And then actually afterwards, we can directly look at the code, manually edit it, preview on different devices, all those kinds of things. And already, so the model came up with a plan, only had to think for 18 seconds, which is definitely longer than I thought for. And now we're sort of going and generating the actual website. And one of my favorite things is, and we've been very thoughtful about this from a vibe coding perspective. Like if you've never written software before, one of my qualms with a lot of products out there is that you sort of see too much detail. And what I really like is like, maybe you're like, hey, I'm sort of curious about what's actually happening behind the scenes, but I'm not a deep engineer and I don't really know what's going on. You can just hover over some of these files and it'll actually tell you what's happening. So like mockdata.ts is the mock data for users and market stats. You can go to this Gemini service config, which is Gemini service for enabling compatibility between profiles. So you can get sort of like a quick intuition behind what's actually happening in this app. And then if you have like, oh, I have some idea, or I need to tell someone else, I actually do work with the developer and they're sort of going to like take this idea I have and then go and implement it. You can sort of point them to some of these files, or just ask the model directly to be like, hey, update X, Y, and Z file, or hey, update X, Y, and Z setting. And it should be able to do all of that, which is awesome. So the moment of truth. Did we get a working app? Let's go full screen and we'll see. And just to take us back to the idea really quick, was generational gap talent matching platform for AI development teams. Pairs junior developers with senior industry veterans to create balanced AI project teams. Junior developers bring technical knowledge of emerging tools, but lack practical experience, while seasoned professionals contribute deep expertise, but need access to cutting edge approaches. So it sounds like it's a people matching platform based on sort of like talent and background and expertise. And there's actually a business model around this and sort of memberships and subscriptions and enterprise access, which is super interesting. So let's see how close we got. I don't know what your reaction is, Greg, but I feel like this looks like looks like a fine landing page. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, it's clean. I like the interactions on like the AI talent market is booming. I would personally like probably reprompt it to I'm just more of like I like light websites right now. Like, so if you don't mind, like a light website, like with like pops of color, which is, every designer hates that feedback. Make it pop more. But this isn't a designer. This is Gemini 3. So hopefully,
Well, Gemini 3's design capability is really good. So thankfully, it won't hate the feedback that we should make it light. And I actually agree with you. I prefer light websites. Let's see if there's actually any functionality. Oh, interesting. So I'll go back really quick. I clicked on Find Your Match, and it sort of takes me to a bunch of people. And then let's see if I click Analyze Fit, and then it's sort of analyzing based on something. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes right now, but we'll see. I assume the AI model is actually sort of like analyzing. Oh, wow. Interesting. AI compatible. The pair exhibits exceptionally high compatibility for generational talent fusion. I love that, generational talent fusion. This is super cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is one prompt, and it feels like, this is my gut reaction. This is the first time I'm seeing this. This just feels like this is kind of like an elevated version of any vibe coding platform I've seen. Like, it just feels like it's getting a little more horsepower.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and so in the enterprise team builder, there's like an available talent pool, and then I can put these folks in, and then let's analyze the balance of the team and the roster. And again, behind the scenes, for folks who haven't played around with this experience before, we have sort of all the Gemini API, like all of Google's AI model infrastructure hooked up behind the scenes. So when you ask for AI features, the model is like really well primed and has all the right context in order to go in and sort of make all those features possible. And that's where we're seeing, like, on all these random pages, like there's an AI team balancer that's sort of analyzing the different profiles of the current roster of folks. And then if I sort of were to remove two of these people and reanalyze, it should give me a different output based on Sarah and fake Robert's profile specifically, which is really cool. Yeah, and I think the thing to your point, and this is interesting, dashboard, your personal command center. All right, so we got the new version.
Hell yeah.
This looks better.
This just looks like clean, this, if I didn't know better, I wouldn't know this is vibe coded.
Yeah, I love it. Well, it's purple. That's how you know that it's
That's
vibe
true,
coded.
actually, the purple. We should change the purple. I know that,
Let's do it. What do you, let's say I don't like the purple. What's your favorite color? Should we?
Green. Let's do green.
Like the purple vibe.
So
my favorite color, Greg. So.
The M dash is to AI writing, which is what purple is to vibe coding.
Exactly. The green, and while we're having the model do some work for us, anything else? Maybe I'll just say and throw in 5 new AI features as well. While the model's doing the work, we might as well get it to do some more stuff. So we'll switch the colors to green. We'll add some more features. I like this. I think the design is also better. I asked it to, I forgot what was my prompt before. I said, spruce it up, add some social proof. And if we go back to, I think it added this like industry is talking section, which I like is like a common sort of pattern from a landing page perspective. So I like that. The design also like looks good. I feel like this is like a common sort of approach of how I would see that sort of design show up, which is great.
And how expensive, are we talking? Like, in terms of, tokens and what, how much does it cost?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the fun part is that the model is available, especially through this experience of like you want to build an AI app or build an app in general. It's completely free. So you can go to ai.studio/build, access this, like start building your product or experience. It doesn't cost anything, which I do think is like part of this headline story of making this capability accessible. There are limits, and after you hit the limits, we sort of prompt you to switch over to a paid API key, and then you can sort of keep going as far as you want and use it as much as you want. The actual model is $2 per million input tokens and $12 per million output tokens. So it's priced below some of those sort of comparable competitive models like GPT 5.1 Pro as an example, and Claude 4.5 is like lower priced than both of those models. And that's for input tokens less than 200,000, and then over 200,000, the price, I think it's like doubles for both. So it's $4 per million in, and I think 24 per million out, though I'd have to fact check that. So similar pricing pattern to what we've done in the past for all these pro models, which is great. It's adding a bunch of features, which is exciting. I feel like I'm going to go build this company after this and help.
Interview simulator generates a role-specific interview question to help you practice. Skill gap analysis, comparing your skills to market trends. Smart icebreaker. Like that's where there's opportunity in using like this product is, we're going from web apps to smart web apps, right?
Yeah. And actually what I love too, Greg, is like I sometimes have this like maybe not writer's block, but like vibe coding block where I'm like, I don't know the ideas. Like, I don't know what the best ideas are. And I routinely use this sort of prompt, which I have here, which is just like add in 5 additional features. And the model sort of takes in all this context and all these ideas that I wouldn't have thought of. And like, even if they're crappy ideas, I can always just remove those features. But like the one feature that shows up here that's like actually really great, it's just like, it feels like that magic moment. So I feel like that loop of just like add 5 additional features, let the model figure out what they are, and then play around with them works really, really well. But we have your green website now. What do you think? Better?
I mean, dude, this looks fresh. Like, I'm not even just saying this. This is like a fresh, it looks great.
So now we can connect with people. And then I think it's like drafting some sort of like draft email, I guess, for reaching out to Sarah, perhaps. Hey, Sarah, Alex Chen here. Your system design work is impressive. I'd love to connect and learn from your perspective. Thanks. Send it. I don't know what it's going to do when I press send. And obviously this button does not look good, but hopefully it doesn't work. This is a great actually example of but this annotate feature, which I don't know if folks have played around with, but I love this. And I can just be like, box in this little section.
Yeah.
And I can add a text box and say, this send button doesn't work and seems oddly placed.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. And then you can just add it to the chat. It goes down here and then already apply the edits shown in the screenshot, which is great. So now we'll fix that, which is wonderful. And then we have our enterprise team roster, team configuration. This is great. I feel like we should try some other ideas or play around with some other stuff. But I feel like we have this sort of like bones of bringing this idea to life. And then I'll sort of just hit 2 more points really quick, which is, let's say this idea, let's say this was the fully working version. You're like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start my sort of talent matching platform. You can go and deploy the app and actually start sharing with people externally. You can also share the app with a friend or like a small group of people. And so you and me could keep iterating on this, or if you want to sort of just get the feedback from like 2 or 3 people that and be like, hey, does this idea make sense? Does this UI make sense? You can actually share that and continue to iterate together, which is really cool. Or move the code to GitHub, download it, do all those types of things that you want to do. So it's hopefully folks will be able to actually build some of these ideas and share them with folks.
That's really cool. We had an offsite recently and we had like a vibe coder in the offsite, and they were just like, as we're spewing ideas, they're just like building in the meeting. And I feel like that's going to be the future. Right?
That is the future. I was on a call with a clothing brand company, and they were telling me about how they're like, we've always wanted virtual try on, and we've always wanted like this like AI enabled mood boarding so that we can sort of try out different things. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Keep telling me. I'm just like spitting. And I'm like, okay, and here's the app for that idea. And here's the app. And this is like live on the actual customer call. So I think for folks who are like building businesses, especially if you're like trying to get your initial customers or like trying to win certain customers, like people have not seen that flywheel. If you go to sort of the long tail of like random businesses in America and like meet the business owner, they have not played with these tools. And if you can sort of build something in real time, like I think that blows the mind of so many people, and also being able to like customize it based on their experience. And also maybe we can actually do an example of that, because I think this is really powerful, which is, and this is maybe too meta, Greg, so you can tell me we shouldn't do this instead, but I want to go to IdeaBrowser.com and I want to screenshot this website and I want to rebuild IdeaBrowser in AI Studio and have AI actually generate all this stuff for us, just to showcase like how good it is at sort of getting close to this design idea. But I'll wait for your consent, because I don't want to steal the IdeaBrowser thunder from you.
No, absolutely.
All right, so I'll zoom out a little bit. I'm sharing this tab. I'm just going to zoom out so that I could try to capture as much of this content as possible. And I'll scroll down, capture the screenshot.
I don't know if you'll be able to do it, but
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. We can't. I'm sure your team spent a lot of. I think I'll make the comment, which is a lot of the magic is in the nuance of this stuff. Like I think your team and others like have great perspectives. So I don't mean to say that it's easy to copy any of these ideas. But I literally am going to say, clone this UI exactly. Make me a button to generate tomorrow's idea based on the daily business trends through Google search, through grounding with Google search, make it all work, be interactive and powerful. All right, we'll give this a shot. Close UI exactly. And like the practicality of this, and like other than I'm not sort of endorsing going to IdeaBrowser and copying the website. I think what like in practice actually like the real use case for this that our team benefits a lot from is we do this with AI Studio ourselves. So like our team is building a product. We want to sort of iterate continuously on what that new product can look like. We literally take the AI Studio UI, we screenshot it, and we say, hey, what would it look like if you sort of changed this configuration or added this feature here and there? And that flywheel really works well. And actually inside of Google, we've seen like a huge amount of traction of teams going and using AI Studio to like rapidly iterate on their product experience. And I think it's like, even if it's not building the like full production version. So like if you're watching this and you're sort of like past the stage of just like complete vibe coding where you're like building something net new from scratch, even if you have an existing company, taking the product, screenshotting it, iterating on the UI, works really well. And I think it goes back to my other features, my suggestion of, I do all the time, is I screenshot the AI Studio UI, I'm like, clone it and add 5 new features. And the model just like comes up with it. And like some of the things are really dumb and don't make any sense. But like every once in a while, like every 3 times I get something where I'm like, crap, we need to build that. That's such a good idea. And I didn't have that before. So I feel like we should hopefully do this for IdeaBrowser too. And maybe we'll come up with the next feature for the website, which would be really cool.
Totally. And I will say, you can also screenshot an app and then just find a new niche or find a new geography. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was reading about Wealthfront today, which is a Robinhood of Canada. And like, they're doing, 300-400 million ARR or something like that. And it's like, it's just Robinhood for Canada. It's just the same concept, but focused on a different geo. So there's opportunities to build businesses that are just new geos or just highly verticalized.
Yeah, I love that. And if folks are watching on the left-hand side, I generated the app. It ran for 95 seconds. No preview was displayed. So I told the model, I don't see anything. The screen is white and blank. So hopefully, this is the experience of vibe coding. Honestly, like sometimes things don't work, and you have to take another shot at it. But we'll see if it gets it on the second shot. It's usually just if there's nuanced context that folks use AI Studio a bunch, and if you run into this, there's like all of this like special formatting we have to do in AI Studio to like make the app compatible with this rendering environment that you see on the right-hand side, which is usually what trips the model up because it's used to just like building software fully unconstrained, and then it comes into AI Studio. We have like a bunch of very specific instructions of like making it work with this rendering environment. So it is a common failure mode. So if this happens to you, literally just tell the model you don't see anything, and it should fix it automatically. And we're doing a bunch of stuff to hopefully mitigate that in the future as well.
Mm-hmm. Don't give up, basically.
Don't give up. Yeah. I mean, you're like one prompt away from it working all the time. It's like that meme of like the person in the cave with the pickaxe and like the diamonds are right behind, and it's like that little gap is usually like literally one prompt is potentially that gap, which is really cool. All right, let's see. It realized it was missing the index.html file. It was incomplete, which makes sense. So hopefully it'll fix it very quickly. And I think for folks, again, who have used 2.5 Pro, I think 3.0 Pro is like roughly on par from a latency standpoint. So there's no, I think in some cases it's a little bit higher latency, but obviously the model is much smarter. And yeah, so it shouldn't be like a worldly different experience from like how long you wait to actually do some of these experiences, which is helpful. But I am excited to see this IdeaBrowser version.
Is this the best vibe coding product on the market?
I think it is, hopefully. I think I'll make the comment, let's look at this and then I'll answer your question. I think there is we have a bunch of gaps. There's a bunch of things that I'm really excited about. Like it's free, it's powered by 3.0 Pro, it has all these AI features built in. Like there's a bunch of things that are unique that I think we're like best in class at. And then there's some very specific things that I think we're still behind on. But this is it. This is my IdeaBrowser clone. It looks pretty good compared to what you all had before. And let me just pan back to what it was on the original IdeaBrowser one. So this is what it looked like before. And I don't know if it's possible to show two tabs at once, or we can do it in post or something, the magic of post-production. And this is what it looks like, the version that I just vibe coded. And the thing that I'm most excited about is like generating future ideas. So I'm super curious actually if I press this, if this feature works out of the box. But let's see. So it removed some of the stuff.
It's loading. Something's happening.
And I asked it to use Google search. So I don't know, this could potentially this is somewhat unconstrained. So it's supposedly like pulling in the news of the day and coming up with something potentially interesting. So what is it? Rapid agentic AI, seeing oversight, businesses are grappling with how to scale because of the EU AI Act, et cetera, et cetera. Yep, Ethos AI is a central control plane where businesses define parameters, ethical guidelines, and operational boundaries for their deployed AI agents. Interesting. And I wonder where it's sort of grounding from, or actually it shows sort of where we're grounding from in this context, which is cool. And I think like AI governance is the sort of keyword that it's tracking, which is really interesting. Governance readiness checklist, Ethos starter kit. This is cool. Nice.
I don't think I've ever seen anything this good. Like screenshot, put it in, and it looks this good and it works on any other product.
I love it. This is, I mean, there's a little bit of AI magic on the AI Studio side, but like the really cool story is like, this really is the Gemini 3 Pro model out of the box. Right. So like, if you want to use AI Studio to do this stuff, awesome. If you want to sort of build your own version or use some other tool that's powered by this model, awesome. The model is, it's available across the entire ecosystem. It's available in our API. It's available in our first party products. So like you can use this, hopefully like wherever it is that you want to build your ideas.
Right.
And yeah, it just feels like magic when it works. And this is my favorite example of sort of like continuing to iterate. And I don't know, Greg, if we do maybe one more generation of this, of like if you ever there was some feature that you wish IdeaBrowser had that you all haven't built yet, and maybe we could try adding that in.
I do. So, every day thousands of people go to ideabrowser.com for ideas. And I think that people are looking for co-founders. So let's say I was into this Ethos AI, building this. I wish I could press a button that says like, match me with a co-founder to build this.
That is a great idea. I love that. And I feel like that is very true. Like it's, sometimes you just need another person. I feel this way all the time. I'm like, I've got lots of great ideas, but if I have another person who's in the trenches with me pushing on that idea, like I feel like I can actually make it happen, versus sometimes I feel when I'm pushing on these ideas by myself, it's not the same. So I love that idea. And let's actually use, I'm done typing. So let me use text to speech and we'll see if we can make this idea come to life. All right. I love where IdeaBrowser is at right now, but I was just talking to my friend Greg, and he suggested we should add the ability to search for co-founders as part of this process as well. So can you sort of mock out and sketch up the experience, make it as functional as humanly possible, where like different people can come in and match, with your potential co-founder to bring this idea to life. It should be like front and center in this experience. As soon as you have the idea being presented to you, you should also have the option to like go and find a co-founder. When you click that, it's to try to take you into the experience where you can see different people's backgrounds, their profiles, et cetera, et cetera. And then maybe while you're doing that, also try to add in 3 additional ideas to this website, and we'll sort of see where that takes us. So we have this text-to-speech feature, which also sort of cleans up a little bit the idea. So I'm just going to assume this is right and not even read it because we're vibe coding. And it sort of removes a bunch of the ums and ahs and other random stuff that's not relevant for the idea. So we'll see where this takes us. And let's actually just quickly go back and check in on what happened with our co-founder finding feature.
Near build the idea, find a co-founder.
Yeah, let's do it. Find a co-founder. Wow.
I mean, that's pretty dope.
Let's connect. Send some requests to them. Maybe I can upgrade premium, get curated.
Wow. That's really smart.
All these different filtering. Nice. Let's do Sarah.
And it's on brand, right? Like this looks like the IdeaBrowser brand.
The subtle details. I love it. And I wonder what else it added.
Let me know. Comment in YouTube if we should add finding co-founders on IdeaBrowser.com.
You should. I'm going to go comment as soon as the video goes live. So this was the different features. Add a co-founder button. Implement a list of 3 additional predefined ideas at the bottom of the page to allow quick navigation. Let's see. What did it add? Be fine. Oh, cool. So this is actually coming up with this. Actually, I think is similar to what you already have in IdeaBrowser, which is like yesterday's ideas, and I think a bunch of other stuff like that. So this is coming up with like different opportunities and sort of going back. So I think it took my suggestion to add new ideas or features in a different direction than I was anticipating, but I feel like it works actually.
Yep, for sure.
This is great. So I'll send this to you, and you sort of can go and replace the version of IdeaBrowser with the version that we vibe coded.
Thanks, man.
It should be off to the races.
Awesome. Anything else you wanted to show?
I think that sort of is most of the stuff. Again, we're early in the experience of like letting you build really, really cool, powerful apps. So send us feedback. Send us feedback on the model. Again, the model is available across the ecosystem on Google products, on third-party products. It's available in the APIs, so you can sort of build with it wherever you want to. And if you want to vibe code apps for free in AI Studio, ai.studio/build, and you can sort of bring your ideas to life, which is exciting.
Totally. And if you need ideas, just go to IdeaBrowser.com, copy, put it in here.
Screenshot the app, build your own version.
Totally. Go crazy. Have fun. No, this has been really fun. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing it with the audience. And I'll include links to get started with Gemini 3.0 in the show notes. And let me know what you build, everyone. Logan, thanks again for coming on, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, this was a ton of fun. Thank you, Greg. And hopefully we can build some more stuff together.
I hope so too. See ya.